witness would die. 3.5 days later, they would come back to life and then ascend. That same day, there'd be an earthquake killing 7,000 people. That's the commencement of the Great Tribulation, fixedly really, which lasts for 3.5 years. And that's closed by the Second Coming, which is the Battle of Armageddon at Megiddo in Israel here. Yeah, I was very fortunate to become Christian, and I met this fabulous person in Zimbabwe. He's a very nice guy. A small-time drug smuggler, nice hippie, Christly type. He caught me on an Aquarian Gospel, which is a sort of hybrid New Testament. It basically cuts out a lot of the padded out bits of the New Testament and makes it a much more straightforward, quick read. A Christian rock star, really, was more sophisticated, just pulled a few people. Maybe 10 or 15 people. And I was one of them, and I got really motivated by it. And of course, the timing was right. It was an era of evangelism, so they'd bothered to take the time to help me to find my way. And I really needed it. You're going to have to be so careful on these steps. I've wondered about all these beautiful little boutiques, being controversial here, but in fact it pans it out rather well. It's rather nice, you know. The person that helped me become Christian, he kind of hung around with a whole load of jewelry makers that traveled around selling it in various places, including Nepal through to Zimbabwe and South Africa. They were nice people, but they didn't have the Christian faith, and that was the problem. They were more like New Agey types, very nice, but he did, and it was wonderful that rubbed off me. I was very, very fortunate. So oddly, I've travelled quite a lot like yourself. Oddly, in the last 3.5 years, it's included India, China, Egypt, Turkey, and here. Just the key ones where many of the world's population are that needed to hear the words. It was all just me, except for the one here. A friend of mine came on this one, and it was great. It was just right. He was a Jew. He's got some amazing Christian attributes. He's never cut his hair or shaved his beard, like Samson. These first 5 books of the Torah, the law of the Tanakh, I've been told that the first 2 and the last 2, for example, every third letter continually spells out Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah. It's like a handprint, because the history and the records are so good in those books, and it's splendid and it's accurate, and with a bit of imaginative license you can agree with archaeology and science and history. There's not a problem with a bit of imaginative license and love. Well, I'll show you these tracks. I've got a few little examples, straight out of Da Vinci Code type stuff. The one in India, the track wasn't as good as that, but it went very well. I felt like a rock star. It was absolutely wonderful. This was the one I put into China. It was a joy. I worked really hard on it. Those words, this one, it's got a dove for peace and the sun, and those words there are Jesus Christ saves. So we put out about 1,000 here. Wonderful. I mean, one didn't want to go too mad here because it's just a small country and everything. That was sensitive and a joy. Yeah, that's a little bit of what I did. Now we've got the North Pole with practically no permanent ice left. Here we've got the security barrage, which has been enabled by the wars over the last 8 years here against Afghanistan and Iraq. So that's been fulfilled as well. I think it's a beautiful world. It's good for longer. I think it's wrong to just wipe us out just like that in one fell swoop by continuing as we are and pushing the world into the red. Although these prophecies seem to keep recurring because people interpret it wrong and have done over the centuries, the time's running out. The world's not standing. The world will crumble. So there it is. It's coming. Where I've forecast quietly, dates and studied intently the details. I've got it wrong a few times, but that doesn't matter. There'd be an earthquake killing 7,000 people. The witnesses' bodies would lie somewhere in the Middle East. That'll be seen by everyone all over the world. And when that's seen by the West, it's basically the pretext for the thief in the night. That same day, without a delay, you'd have the mosque removed from the temple as an act of aggression by the West. And that same day, probably, you would have the thief in the night. We're looking for 6th, 7th and 8th kings. Someone called Michael, an archangel that would stand up. The 7th king looks almost definitely like Gordon Brown. The 8th king looks very much like Ozzy Osbourne. The 6th king is certainly Obama. I don't see that it could be anyone else. Syria has Husseins in its military. His middle name's Hussein. His ancestors were probably Muslim. It fits. And that's just a little bit of it. It very much looks like him. You can't talk about it because many of the countries of the world would object. But that's right, he would possibly take care of a 325 nuclear warhead, an hour of nuclear disaster, wiping out the mankind, a third of an hour. And he would also... Yeah.
Too loud.
Be it wrong or not, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's some personal disgrace that I need to go through for my salvation. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, this time God has said, come here and wear this sackcloth to me, so I've done it. I believe in it. Certainly all the details look right, and the timing seems right to me. All the factors seem right. So I'm doing my bit. But who knows what'll be, it doesn't matter. Because, the Jerusalem syndrome thing, they try and discourage it. When you read a tourist guide on the country, they try and discourage this kind of pilgrimage because a lot of people can do it and they put them off. Obviously, all these years, for the last century, it's been wrong. It wasn't the right time. But, and they even will take them off to jail, even put them in a clinic and try and deal them with medically. It's not good. It doesn't help them. They can be deported and put straight back home. So they really strongly discourage it. But at the same time, God needs his witnesses to appear and to make it for 3.5 years in the world. That's why I'm wearing it. It fits. And it's only for 10 minutes. So it's a private test to me. And if one wanted to say, well, look, that wasn't achieved, well, then the fact is it was. You can tick that box, it was achieved. There was someone here wearing sackcloth. That's what will happen to me. I'll go home and get on with my life in October if it doesn't happen. But the fact is, it is Jackson, it is Obama, it is Brown, it is Osborne. I've been blessed, and that's thanks to prayer and God. Yeah. A good adventure. Yeah.
Oh, good day. Porque